Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Yashoda Hospital's webinar series. Well, as most of you all know, that knee arthritis is one of the most common disease worldwide, and it can lead to severe pain and dysfunction, and this can present at any age group today. So today's topic is knee arthritis and its management. I'm Dr. Lakshmi, and today we have with us Dr. Jay Krishna Reddy, consultant orthopedician and arthroscopic surgeon, and Dr. Sumant, HOD of physiotherapy from Yashoda Hospital, Secunderabad. Welcome you all.
Thank you. Good evening, one and all. Thanks, Lakshmi, and good evening, Sumant.
Good evening, sir.
In this pandemic situation, in this kind of COVID situation, we thought to have a webinar on knee arthritis and its management, where most of them, though they are suffering with the pain, they cannot reach to the hospitals, but still I thought we can advise them to some extent with our video and help people to manage at home what to be done, and so that it will be useful. And we have asked our physiotherapy chief in charge, Dr. Sumant, also to join us, so that he can show a few exercises for the knee arthritis patient to improve the muscle strength and relieve the stress on the joints. So to start with my talk today, I have made it so easy. I mean, to very understanding, made it easy because the common general public is listening to this, not only doctors. So as you all know, knee arthritis is very common. It's very common. So one or other person in the family will be suffering with this. Most of them are elderly people. So it's a degenerative disease seen in elderly people. As I said, it can be a primary arthritis or secondary arthritis. Primary is because of senile arthritis, that's age-related process. Second is it can be post-traumatic, post-infective, inflammatory arthritis, can be rheumatoid arthritis or gouty arthritis or other kind of inflammatory pathologies, which will lead to wear and tear of the cartilage. This osteoarthritis is a progressive disease where the cartilage wear and tear is gradual onset and it worsens at one point of the time. So most of the patients they come with the complaints of pain while walking, or pain while getting up, pain while taking steps, or getting into the car and coming out, and disturbing their day-to-day activities. So, and stiffness and swelling. Swelling is because of the excess of fluid collection in the knee joints because of arthritis reaction, and which leads to stiffness. And in advanced stages, because of the more than 70-80% of wear and tear of the cartilage, they are prone for stiffness too. The lubricant of the joint will be reduced and the free movement will be restricted. And most of the people you might have seen with the knee complaints, they'll be having the bent knee leg won't be straight. It's because of the knee joint. The one side will be bent like this because cartilage on one side will be worn and other side it will be bowed. You can see the legs bowing like this. So they present with this kind of deformities, bowing deformity. Whereas in rheumatoid arthritis, which leads to secondary osteoarthritis, such kind of people will have a deformity to the outer side. And some people in the early stages, because of the cartilage wear and tear particles, they tend to form loose bodies, and because of osteophytes also. So which leads into locking. When they are walking or when they try to get up from a chair, their knee gets stuck. Again, they have to move it quite a few times to make it free. And as I said, range of movements are restricted in advanced stages because the gliding capacity of the knee joint is reduced because of the reduction in the knee lubricant, and the cartilage is worn. So when the bone is exposed, the raw bone doesn't act as a gliding surface that leads to the reduction in the loss of movements. Apart from that, gradual onsets. As I said, this is a progressive disease, gradual onset, and muscle weakness also, they will develop muscle weakness. So which also leads to decrease in range of movement. If you see the epidemiology, it's a very common disease. As I said, in any family, there's a person will be having knee arthritis, and it's a very common disease. Affected most of them above 45 years, and women are more common, more prone than men. Roughly around 13% of the women and 10% of the men are of 60 years and older have this kind of symptoms, and these symptoms and the prevalence will continue to increase as life expectancy is increasing and obesity is raised. So the reasons for this, most of them have curiosity, even the younger people. They feel like we can avoid the osteoarthritis and they want to know the reason for this. So if you see the reason, it's not exactly one point, it's a degenerative disease. As our skin gets lax by aging, our skin texture changes, our skin is not as smooth as like this, and we find wrinkles. The similar way, even the knee cartilage, slowly it gets wear and tear, and it leads to severe pain and limitation of the movements. So it's a degenerative disease, progressive degenerative disease. That's primary, which after age of 45 and gradually increases after 60. And secondary OA, as I said previously, it can be because of previous infections. It can be because of previous inflammatory arthritis, which leads to early degeneration, and excessive weight, obesity. Whenever you get up from a chair, you need to put extra 10% weight on the knee joints. And when you take steps, when you sit down and get up also, we need to put 10 to 20% extra weight on the knee joint. That will lead to increase in wear and tear in obese people. Joint instability. Joint instability is caused because of sports injuries or trauma, where ligaments were torn at the time of injury. So if those injuries are not addressed at that time, if they are not operated or not treated, gradually the wear and tear of the cartilage, which happens so gradually and progressively, it usually starts in early period of life only. And deformity of the joints. As I said, few people you might have noticed with the joints bow from younger ages, they're having a bow knees or a knee bent at the other opposite side. So such kind of people, because of the pressure of the cartilage on one side, they are prone for the osteoarthritis again in the early stages. And previous injury, post-traumatic, if the fracture, intra-articular fracture, that is fracture into the joints, it's not treated properly, not addressed properly, they are also prone for early osteoarthritis. And apart from that, even though not treated, if it is multiple pieces of multiple fracture pieces into the joint, those people also prone for the osteoarthritis. Family history, yes, family history to some extent carries in genetic way also. Metabolic diseases like rickets, other things will lead to the secondary osteoarthritis. So on your left side, you see a normal knee joint, healthy blue color surface. It's a normal cartilage. As we have a skin on our palm, skin on our surface, if I touch a surface, it doesn't pain because it's normally. But if I get injured, I cannot touch anything for about a week or something until it heals. But in the knee joint, it's not like that. The healing process doesn't happen. The cartilage surface doesn't heal. It is a gradual progressive disorder. So initially, in the initial stages, the wear and tear will be less, and gradually it goes to the other part of the joint. Joint is like, if you see, this is called as one compartment, this is other compartment, this is other compartment. So initially they are prone for this compartment of the joint, arthritis, wear and tear is seen, and gradually it's other surface is also prone for the arthritis. So when the arthritis is the initial stages, your treatment is different. In advanced stages, it's different. These are the pictures which can show you the normal cartilage and the degenerated cartilage where bone is exposed in the degenerated joint. So because of this, there's extra bone formation called osteophytes and cartilage erosion, and bone is exposed, as I said. And the other structures in the joint called meniscus, they also get torn as stress raise is there on one side of the joint. So the diagnosis is clinically by the symptoms and by the history, and radiologically, we only need an X-ray. X-ray is good enough to show us the wear and tear of osteoarthritis. So in the normal joint, again, the right side, you can see the joint space here, whereas in the right, and the alignment is also normal, hip to ankle, it's in the center. If you see in the right side picture, the joint surface is reduced, and you can compare both the sides, and there is bowing of the joint, if you see. So this is because one side you can appreciate the gap between the joint, other side it is completely narrowed. So that causes the deformity. That's people tend to walk like this, and at one point of the time when they keep on walking like that without getting a treatment done, they are prone for fracture in this area. It's called stress fracture. They did not fall, they did not have a trauma. Even just while walking, they're prone for the stress fracture. So treatment options, many people want to get it treated. Probably most of them nowadays, they come and ask, how can we prevent osteoarthritis? Do we have any medication now? Do we have any food substance now to prevent osteoarthritis or delay osteoarthritis? But really, it's not in our hands. It's, as I said, it's a senile and progressive disorder. The treatment options, yes, you have medical and surgical and physical therapy also. Physical therapy will be elaborated by Dr. Sumant. And medical part, our goal is to maintain the current function and prevent further worsening of the condition or delay the further worsening of the condition. If you leave a person without treating them in initial times, example, if he lands up with a severe stage in 2 years, so that's our goal is to extend the progress. So we need to extend it at least 7 to 8 years without surgery. So initial management is also very important. So this consists of our lifestyle change is very important. So weight loss improves knee symptoms, reduces the stress on the joint. As I said, whenever you walk, whenever you get up, or whenever you take steps, or joint takes extra weight. So weight loss will helps us to improve knee symptoms. And we need diet and exercise, both are important for the weight loss. You need to have a proper protein diet, especially the elder people. Their protein absorption will be less, so they need to balance the protein diet to have a good muscle strength. And exercise is also very important. Only dieting again will lead to other problems. So this will decrease the operative, if a person needs surgery, and in the later stages also with less weight compared to obese patient, the risk of operative complications are less, whereas when a patient is in appropriate weight. Bracing, this is the picture is showing a brace. So this is a brace where you're because of the brace, we unload the weight transmission. As I said in the X-ray picture, one side the gap is narrowed and the weight is transmitted in the bowing, as you have seen. So this braces will help us to unload the weight. So this will reduce the pain and increases the function of the knee to some extent, and so that we can prevent early replacements. The important thing I'll tell in a short way, and Dr. Sumant will elaborate about it. Exercises are very important. As I said, improves muscle strength. It helps us in maintain the normal motion of the joint, which again helps in chondroprotective. That's joint cartilage surface will be protected, When a joint range of movement is maintained, it helps us in chondroprotection. Cartilage needs some compression and decompression for nutrition and repair. So exercise is important there again. It reduces, see, when a patient is active, when a person is active, moving around, walking around, or doing exercise, it indirectly reduces our depression and anxiety, makes us active. Walking, swimming, low impact aerobic exercise, station bicycling are the advisable exercises. They need not go for running or some kind of hard sports like football. Low impact exercises are good enough along with the diet. So you need not be ashamed, or you need not be worried about what other people thinks. When you want a support, you need it. So walking aids are very important. So when you are one part of the knee is paining, if you use a cane on a normal side, it reduces the weight to some extent. It reduces the load up to 20 to 30% and helps you to be more mobile and reduce your pain. And again, that will also extend our gives our time. We can buy some time before knee replacement surgery. Medication, there are a lot of medications. They are effective. You can take pain management medication. Pain management medications, yes, simple paracetamol is good enough. That's a good tablet. And there are many other drugs there. I will not go into the list of it. But any drug has its own side effect. Most of the patients come and ask us how many days we have to take the medication. Are there any medication for a month or for a week which help us for long run? But really, there's no such medication. But we have to be aware of some side effects of the medication: peptic ulcer and renal toxicity and hepatic toxicity. That's kidney and liver will be affected if you take long duration pain medication. Other group of medications are chondral supplements. The chondral supplements are chondroitin and glucosamine components, will have anti-inflammatory effect and analgesics. It will act as analgesic. They provide nourishment for the cartilage. And this medication, chondroitin sulfates, all these things, glucosamine sulfates, all these things, if your patient takes in appropriate time, in initial period, it will be useful, but not in an advanced stage. Advanced stage, when there is complete wound of cartilage, there is no use at all. So intra-articular injections, you have two kind of injections. Okay, there I can say three kind, but I have mentioned only two. One is viscosupplementation, that's joint fluid. The lubricant which is required for the cushioning of the joint can be given. It's called hyaluronic acid. It reduces the pain by coating the joint surface, and it acts as anti-inflammatory action. Even again, this one, if it is given appropriate stage of the arthritis, it will be helpful. In the end stage of the arthritis, there's no use at all. And other medications, steroids. Usually, I don't prefer steroids, giving steroids. I don't see any good role for the steroids. I've seen people who are coming with severe infection of the knee joints post-steroid injection. So you have to be aware of those things. And injection, it's a process given in the OP room, outpatient room. You do not get admitted for that. The viscosupplement, it comes in a pre-packed one. We give a shot of injection for a year, for 2 to yearly once, just under a sterile conditions. And you can just walk after the injection after 2 or 3 minutes. You can go home. So coming to the steroids, it will further cause wear and tear of the cartilage. You may have an instant pain relief because of steroids because of the anti-inflammatory action at the moment, but damage to the cartilage in due course, due time, it's more. Operative procedures, yes. When there is a lot of pain and patient cannot do his day-to-day activities. So when such a stage is, when in such a stage, a person need not sit at home or sit ideal, or he need not be limited for even his basic activities. There are procedures which can improve their quality of life, and it should be, need not get scared of the surgery. It should be taken as a choice when required. So there we advise 3 or 4 different types of surgeries, depends on the stage. So there's one surgery called arthroscopy, and the second one is osteotomy, third one is arthroplasty, that's joint replacement, fourth one is orthodesis, that's joint fusion. Arthroscopy is a minimally invasive procedure. It's a keyhole surgery. We put a camera and instruments through 2 or 3 tiny holes and do surgery according to the requirement. So when is arthroscopy required in osteoarthritis? Arthroscopy is commonly done for sports injuries, ligament injuries patients. But in osteoarthritis, when there is a cartilage of 60 to 70% normal surface area is there and minimal wear and tear is there, such kind of people, they are prone to develop loose bodies because of wear and tear particles. So excision of those particles will relieve pain. The locking symptom, which I said, whenever they walk or sit and get up, all those symptoms will reduce. So temporarily, it's a good procedure, and it doesn't stop the progress of the osteoarthritis, but temporarily the quality of life will be improved. It's a daycare procedure again. Osteotomy. As I said, the hip and ankle should be aligned biomechanically in this way, but because of the wear and tear, the inner surface of the joint will be more prone for wear and tear in the initial stages. Later, the other side of the joint, and still further later, under the kneecap bone, the wear and tear will be more. So when in the initial stages, when the more wear and tear is there in the inner side, and the knee is bent, as I showed in the previous X-ray picture, knee was bent like this. So such kind of people, when the cartilage is normal on the outer side and beneath the kneecap bone, patella bone, we can do a procedure called osteotomy to increase the space on the inner side, so that we can buy some time before knee replacement. So preferred in active younger people, who's below 60 years and whose cartilage is well maintained, at least 70-80%. Corrects the alignment, so we can prevent the stress fractures also. Weight distribution is changed. That's how it's helping to reduce the pain. So joint replacement. Joint replacement is highly successful procedure, I can say. And at the same time, I don't say that 100% perfect results. 2%, like any other surgery, it has its own complications. So it's the most reliable surgery. It's been time tested, I think, are more than 35 years by now. The implants also, by time have come to a proper design and proper metals are available to have a good longevity of the replaced joint. So in this joint replacement surgery, as you can see in this picture, the worn and wear and tear part surface is shaved off and it's replaced with a metal joint. It can be a cobalt chrome, titanium, oxynium, or gold alloys. So after joint replacement, most of the patients, they think, how will be the life? Will I walk normally or not? At least now I'm able to walk few steps. But the joint replacement is the solution in the advanced stages. You need not worry about any complications later. I would advise, without any second thought, you people can go for joint replacement surgery in advanced stages. And further, any questions, you can ask me. And Dr. Sumant will brief you about the exercises, physiotherapy part, and how to strengthen the knee muscles around the knee and improve the strength and reduce the stress on the joint.
Good evening, sir. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'll discuss about the physiotherapy part. Before going into the approaches of physiotherapy, first, as Dr. Jay Krishna sir was mentioning about his medical management in initial stages as well as in advanced stages. In initial stages, it's very important to check the biomechanical alignment. So biomechanical alignments means, so this is your thigh bone, this is your shin bone. In between, you have got one kneecap, that's patella. So how the line of force is passing through this joint, that is very, very important. So here, in the initial stages, as the patient is getting pain, the first goal should be how to decrease the pain. The doctor will be giving you the medical drugs. So you'll be taking the medical drugs. While you're taking the medicines, definitely your pain will be less. And in that particular time, you should know what to do and what not to do. When you are not having the pain, in spite of having an early arthritis, what you tend to do is you tend to walk a lot, you tend to climb the stairs, you tend to sit down, you tend to use Indian toilets. So those things, initially you need to stop down. Okay, yes, walking, and biggest doubt the people will be asking us is whether I can walk or not. Yes, you can walk, but it should be on a plain surface. So when the patient is having the pain, when it comes to the physiotherapy, we will examine the patient and we'll come to the conclusion that why the patient is getting the pain. Definitely that the reason is early arthritis. When there is an early arthritis, and we need to see the muscles around the knee joint, so up muscles, down muscles, and back muscles, we need to see. So when the pain is there, some group of muscles are going for tightness and some group of muscles are becoming over tight, as other group of muscles are becoming weak. So we need to understand, say in all people, the same pattern of muscle doesn't go for weakness and tightness. It varies from person to person. In most of the people, so this medial side means this is your kneecap. Inside the kneecap, you have got a muscle that is VMO, vastus medialis obliquus. So this is the muscle more prone for going for weak, and the side muscles are more prone for developing tightness, and the back hamstrings muscles are becoming prone for developing the tightness. So whichever the muscles are becoming tight, we need to release those muscles, we need to stretch those muscles, and the muscles which are weak, those muscles has to be strengthened by giving a correct protocols. And here the patient will ask us how many times a day I should do. So it is not standard for all the patients. It all depends upon the patient to patient and their exercise tolerance. So if you can do for 20 times, just start with 20 times. If you can do for 10 times, okay, start with 10 times. So again, here initially, sometimes you will be seeing the swelling. So first we need to control the swelling. Okay, for that quick isometric exercises helps. Okay, next, for increasing the strength, slow tonics helps. So here, and again the sir was mentioning about the usage of canes and use of braces. So we should use the cane and brace smartly, and we have to use those. So use of canes. So when you're using the cane in an unaffected side, so as sir said clearly that one should not feel shy while using the cane. So if that is indicated, yes, you use that so that your proper alignment, your lines of forces will pass properly, and your pain start decreasing properly. When the pain decreases, so that then only you can recruit your muscle properly while doing an exercise. So without using the cane, when you start doing an exercises, okay, with pain, you can't do exercises properly. And next is usage of the brace. And here the sir said clearly about sometimes you might get bow shape, means that is nothing but a valgus or varus. It all depends upon how the lines of forces are passing inside your joint. So based on whether you have gotten valgus knee or varus knee, we need to select a brace, valgus brace or valgus brace or varus brace, so that helps in keeping your joint properly, keeping the joint alignment properly. And here we see, consider a Q angle. Q angle means one imaginary line joint drawn from the hip to the center of this kneecap, and one line from tibial tuberosity to the. In male, it will be around 12 to 14 degrees. In females, it will be around 16 to 18 degrees. So when that Q angle is decreasing, that is a classical indication of there are certain changes inside the joint, or there is some muscle inactivity or muscle overactivity around the joint. So we need, being a from physiotherapist point of view, we'll be seeing that Q angle, and we'll see that which muscles are under problem, and we'll control that. We will target those muscles. So when it comes to a pain management in physiotherapy, whatever the modalities we use, like TENS, IFT, shockwave diathermy, so ultrasounds, lasers. So most of our therapies, we don't have any contraindications, and these works beautifully in the initial stages. And moreover, not only these currents, we'll be having the Russian stimulations. The Russian stimulations helps in increasing the muscle recruitment, and these currents helps in strengthening the muscles. Okay, strengthening the muscle strengthening, it helps. So here our currents not only helps in decreasing the pain, we have certain currents helps in increasing the strength of the muscles. So current application, physical exercises. Okay, physical exercises. Next, application of proper bracings and proper, if indicated, like usage of canes and initial stages. These helps in controlling a pain a lot and helps in postponing the your surgery for a certain period of time. And other important thing is, when you start, as Sir said clearly, we start getting pain after 45 and 50 or 55, the pain increases. So when the pain increases, our physical activity decreases. When our physical activity decreases, we need to control the weight, because every kg of weight you lose, that matters a lot on your knee. So here, when you're having a so with pain, you can't walk a lot. You can't do a good amount of exercises, so your weight will be keep on increasing. So that particular time, the weight diet control is very important, and doing an exercise effectively, how to control a weight, is very important. So here, if you can't walk for a long time, so here you need to say select a cycle. Cycles means, again, cycles, you have got a normal cycle, recommend bikes. You need to select a recommend bikes, so that there won't be a much stress on the knee. By adjusting your seat, you can go back and you start working on a recommend cycles without less stress on a knee joint. So here we can do the strengthening of your knee muscles as well as controlling of your weight. And you should start do some activity to your upper limbs, so that you can burn your calories and your weight will be managed. Okay, your weight will be managed, so that like how we need to manage early arthritis. So when it comes to a post-operative, the first thing the patient will be having a fear is whether I can stand. Yes, you can stand. Okay, immediately a post-operative day, if you're getting operated on morning, definitely within a few hours, after 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours, definitely the same day will make you to stand, unless and until there are certain contraindications, whether if your bone is weak. So those instructions will get clearly from a orthopedic surgeon. Okay, as a routine, they'll be telling us, yes, we can go from day one, or if there is any osteoporotic bone, okay, we need to wait, we need to go gradually, we need to use bracing in that cases. So we'll be having a good coordination with orthopedic surgeon till the patient is in our hospital. Okay, in our hospital till they get discharged. We'll plan our program and we'll see you how you are progressing. We'll be seeing you how you are progressing, and definitely if you're having any particular contraindications, we'll be seeing you carefully, and we'll be handovering those things to your home care therapist. We'll be having, so that we'll be having a chain of link to an orthopedic surgeon. Our orthopedic surgeon will be knowing so what is going till the end of your rehabilitation. So most of the total knee replacements, don't worry, on the day one you can stand with the full weight bearing. Okay, and within 10 days to 2 weeks, we'll make you to walk on a stage, and sometimes we'll make the patients to they can take a stage within a 5th day or 6th day also. Okay, and here also our post-operatively also, here sometimes the patients in my 15 years, 16 years of experience, what I found is, in spite of getting operation, in spite of getting knee TKR also, sometimes that they say still I'm having a medial knee pain, still I'm having a lateral knee pain. It all because definitely you would have means when the surgeon has said you need to go for an operation at the age of 55, okay, but because of fear factor or something, you would have postponed your surgery for 2 years or 3 years. So when you have postponed, what happens? This muscle, especially this VMO, it will be completely atrophied. This muscle is not at all working. So after here, when this muscle is not working, this kneecap slowly starts moving side. So when it moves sides, these muscles will be tight because this kneecap is not sitting in this hole. This is got trochlear groove. If it's not sitting here, so it will be directly in contact with an implant or a bone. That is the reason for your bone. So in such cases, don't panic, don't worry. So we see carefully and we start activating these muscles, okay, by means of exercise. If you are not responding good with exercises, we have got an sophisticated equipments like Russian stimulations. We'll keep Russian stimulations. We start recruiting the muscle of VMO, and meantime we'll be working on your vastus lateralis and IT band. We'll be releasing these muscles, and our goal is to keep this kneecap in center. And in this regard, when your incision site is properly healed, if it is healed, so we'll be using some taping techniques to keep this patella in proper position to activate the muscles. So the only thing we can get, and sometimes what happens, because of long-standing TKRs, the posterior capsule and hamstring tightness is also one of the reasons for anterior knee pains. So we'll be addressing the hamstrings, we'll be addressing your gastrocnemius muscles. If those are tight also, this anterior knee pain, there is a chance of getting an anterior knee pain. We'll be working out on these muscles. We'll be releasing these muscles so that your anterior knee pain will be gone. So in this, we'll be having a thorough evaluation before you're going for a surgery. Okay, we'll be sitting with an orthopedic surgeon, and we'll be giving our perspective of examination, and we try to solve all these issues before surgery so that you don't face much problem after a surgery. So still sometimes if you getting these pains, we not to be worried about the pain, and this can be corrected with a simple exercise. Okay, so the simple exercise I can show you with the help of our model, okay, for activating the knee. So you can see the simple exercise. You can buy one small ball and keep under the knee. Okay, try to lift your knee. Okay, hold it for 10 seconds and slowly get it down. So this is a VMO exercise. Try to repeat this exercise. Okay, as much as you can possible, as much as means in an early arthritis or post-operative also, you can start doing these exercises for strengthening your VMO. So not only you should target for managing the knee pain, you should not target only the glute distal. You should not target only the VMO muscles. You should keep in mind that your hip muscles also plays an important role in decreasing your knee pain. If your hip muscles, if your hip muscles are strong, the alignment of alignment of thigh bone will be normal. If hip muscles are becoming weak, what happens? The alignment changes in this bone, and this patella position changes. This is also one of the reasons for knee pain. Post-operatively also, so because of this knee pain, if you're suffering for long, you tend to have a waddling gait. You tend to walk like this and like that. With this, your hip muscles tends to become weak. So in this case, we need to target your hip muscles, and we need to strengthen your hip muscles. So like your gluteus medius muscles, sometimes gluteus maximus muscles, to keep your hip in control. Okay, so that your knee pain will be reduced. So another important thing is, for knee pains in early stages, it is very important to have an examination for your foot. If you are flat-footed, okay, flat-footed or a fallen arch, so your shin bone, we tend to rotate internally and your patella position changes. So it's very important, and doctor will see you and say sometimes you might need an arch support. Okay, with simple arch support, the orientation of tibia bone will be normal and patella alignment will be normal. So these can be controlled with an initial stages orthotic support. Later stages also it can be get corrected with an orthotic support. Okay, foot corrections and hip corrections. It is a junction between the hip and the knee. So while treating the knee, it is a very important to take into consideration of foot and hip. It should be an holistic issue, and so that the orthopedician and physiotherapist should work together for a betterment, for better outcome of a patient. Thank you.
So thank you, doctors, for an informative session. So taking a few questions from our viewers, we've got someone asking, what are the risk factors for developing osteoarthritis and which joints are mostly affected by it?
Yeah, common joint as knee joints, weight-bearing joints. Knee joints are the very common. Then comes the hip joints, because we have a lifestyle of squatting down and sitting cross-legged, sitting on the floor. That impacts more on the weight-bearing joints and causes wear and tear. One, and second question was what? Which joints and?
Risk factors and which are the joints affected?
Which are the joints and?
Risk factors.
Risk factors. Obesity is one major risk factor. Overweight. Then coming to the females, women are more prone for osteoarthritis. That's a 3:2 ratio. Smoking will lead to wear and tear of the cartilage. It has impact on the cartilage. Then metabolic disorders. High impact exercises in the late stage of the age also cause wear and tear. And then these are the common risk factors causing osteoarthritis.
Okay. The next question is, what are the absolute indications for surgery and how is the post-surgery recovery?
Absolute indication is pain. When your day-to-day activities are limited because of the pain, you're unable to do even your own requirement works. That's the main reason that you have to get a surgery done. You cannot live with pain. You cannot take medications regularly on day-to-day basis. You cannot take painkillers regularly. So only the best solution to get back to your normal work is surgery. That's when your pain is increased and when it is causing your limitation of your activities. That's an indication for surgery.
Another question, sir. Keeping the pandemic in view, can the surgery be postponed?
Yes. Yes, it can be very well postponed. Keeping the pandemic in view, we need not rush for the surgery. This knee replacement is an elective surgery. It's not an emergency surgery. It's a planned surgery. So you have a few tricks and tricks to manage at home. You need to do a few exercises, joint movement exercises, sitting on a chair, bending your knee and making straight, and few ankle exercises. If you do all those things, your joint will be little, muscles may get little strengthened, and nourishment will improve to some extent. You can reduce, and you can use some ice pack or hot pack, which are it's comfortable for you. So you need not restrict completely. Use few medications, few safe medications. Do exercise, and hot or cold compression. You can do that and manage at home and postpone until the pandemic reduces. But if you have a stress fracture because of the knee osteoarthritis, then we need to operate in this kind of situation also.
Moving on to the last question for this session. Can knee replacement be done at any age? And can we replace both the knees at the same time?
Yeah. It can be done for any age, provided patient should be fit. We do all the set of investigations whether patient is fit for surgery or not, like any other surgery. And we take a cardiologist opinion, pre-anesthetics opinion, all those things, and figure out whether patient is fit or not. So any age can be considered, provided, as I said, no other comorbid conditions are limiting for the surgery. And both knees, yes, when a young patient around 60 years and both knees are worn and their comorbid is diabetes, hypertension, cardiac risk or stroke, if all those are not there, or only diabetes or hypertension, yes, we can do the surgery. And there are benefits of the bilateral knee replacement, both knee replacement at the same time. Patient rehabilitation goes on at one time, hospital stay and mental agony, all those things will be at one go. It is advisable, provided, again, cardiologist and anesthetist say that they are fit for both knee surgery.
So this brings us to the end of the session. Thank you, doctors, and thank you everyone for joining us into today's session. And we look forward for your active participation onto our next session as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumant.
Thank you. Thank you.